I'm Renee Collins from Montclair Design Week, and this is Gradient, a three-part series exploring the future of our design industry. Designers have a lot to say, and Gradient is both an archive of our moment and a conversation about our future. In each video of the series, we're going to be focusing on a topic within design that has been highlighted by 2020, sustainability, diversity, and design education. From interns to CEOs, you're going to meet designers across disciplines and at different points in their careers, and I'm excited for you to hear their stories, ask questions, and pass the mic to imagine the future of our industry.
I'm Dalal Elsheikh. I'm a graduate student at Eurocentric Design, studying transportation systems and design with a specification in space habitat and manned missions to Mars. I have an undergraduate degree from NJIT in industrial design, and I'm currently a UI/UX intern at Elementary Robotics and a user experience research intern and industrial design intern at Stellar Amenities.
Hi everybody, my name is Nieves. I am a recent graduate from NJIT. I graduated with my bachelor's and master's in architecture and a concentration in infrastructure planning in December 2019. I then followed up with a full-time position at the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey as an engineering and architectural associate.
What's up guys, my name is Chelsea Banks. I am an interior designer, a space planner, and a creator. And a little bit about myself. So before COVID, for 5 years or so, I was working on with different companies on predominantly corporate commercial interiors. And right now I'm freelancing and working with different clients on their residence spaces. And right now I am in the process of launching my own design company.
My name is Freddy and I grew up in Australia. I've been in the design industry for about 16 years and I work for a variety of companies ranging from owning my own business to working for a design agency in Paris. I also worked in-house for Rolex and Bang & Olufsen, and now I'm the digital art director for a footwear company called Aetrex.
Diversity in design is almost non-existent. To be honest, it varies depending on what industry you're in specifically, but especially in transportation, it's dominated by men. It's actually dominated right now by men of a lot of different races. It's not just white men anymore, but it's still dominated by people who don't look like me. So my experience has been that I have felt like I constantly had to fight to have my voice heard or to have things change.
So when it comes to diversity in design, I don't really see a lot of it. I didn't see a lot of it. In college, I saw a few people of color sprinkled around. And as the 5th year of my schooling came to an end, I graduated as the only Black person to graduate with a BFA in interior design. And I don't really see a difference when it comes to corporate, commercial, or even in the professional field.
And my experience in diversity has been challenging. I feel like there is a shift in terms of seeing individuals like me. I think there needs to be a little bit more work and push for diversity within the field. I think NOMAS has been a great organization that has been bridging the gap between design fields and diversity.
I've been fortunate enough to work in many different countries, in France, Australia, Indonesia, and now in the US. And I've had the privilege of working with a diverse range of people. You know, men, women, gay, straight, old, young, people from different race, different walks of life.
I think that transportation creates a lot of divisions in the world, not only socially, but also ecologically. We know that cars are terrible for the environment, and a lot of car designers end up in positions where they're designing luxury objects for the wealthy, and then these luxury objects in turn have repercussions on the environment, and those who suffer for it are often people of dark skin in other countries that we don't see. And it's like out of sight, out of mind. We just make the pretty thing, the rich person buys it, the brown person suffers for it.
Design inequality ranges on so many different levels. So when I grew up, in the neighborhoods that I grew up in, some of them were predominantly people of color, and the whole dynamic unfortunately changed in a matter of like years. And it's not like it was completely redlined or anything, but some examples that have affected the design world are redlining, the Housing Act, the Federal Highway Act, and unfortunately, as a designer, seeing that, you know the difference between a good and healthy and aesthetically pleasing design. So being in the low income or minority neighborhoods, it's just sad to see, because you know that as designers you have the opportunity to change it.
It definitely exists, especially in the model casting process for a photo shoot. White models are often preferred than a person of color, and this is almost like an unspoken thing in the industry. But I'm happy to see that the dial is shifting and many companies are pledging to give more opportunities to people of color. And I'm also proud to say that the company I'm working for is active in championing equality and diversity.
Representation in the design industry is so important, and there's so many reasons why, but the first one that I truly think of is the children. You know, specifically me growing up, you know, not having too much exposure to, you know, college or architecture or anything in design, and not even truly knowing what that is. It was difficult for me to want to pursue a career. So now that I am pursuing a career, there's other challenges of not seeing individuals like me. And I also truly believe that, you know, being diverse just adds a whole different playing field to the design industry, right? We all have different experiences, and by making it diverse, you get to bring that to the table.
We live in a different world now where everything is global, and especially in the digital world. Your design doesn't just stop where you are. It could be consumed in another country with different culture. And representation is important, because in design, what you interpret here might have a totally different meaning in another country, and it could be offensive. So this all can be avoided if we have diversity, bringing different people with different knowledge from different backgrounds together.
Excellent question. No, I don't. I think design education is dominated by colonialism. I think that everything that we are taught that is, quote, good design is all very Eurocentric. It is all driven by European white men, specifically Western Europe. I think that everything that we learn in industrial design and graphic design comes from this idea that it must be minimalist and simple in order to be good, but our definitions of minimalist and simple are, again, very Eurocentric. Everything's a chamfered box.
I think we are still very far from creating this diverse design perspective. I truly believe that this needs to start with our education and within the schools. I think that there should be a larger push towards different design environments and different design scenarios that allows people to think a little bit differently and caters more to certain areas that may need that design assistance and may need individuals to think with a mindset of diversity.
Slowly but surely, I still see the Eurocentric design as the blueprint in the design field, only because a lot of clients and designers see it as like their comfort level. They don't usually push past the comfort level, and because they see it as the default, you never really get the opportunity to see such other amazing like design projects.
Human-centered design in the fashion world, the end user of the products, are normal everyday people, and they come from all different walks of life, young, old, different body types. But I think the people that are used to represent the products are usually a young 20-something years old model with one body shape type. So I guess we could do more with seeing, the variety and diversity of the body type and the age and race.
I think that we have fallen short in terms of designing spaces, buildings, areas, so on and so forth, in relationship to what actually serves the community and the people that live there, rather than providing a lot of different amenities or businesses or things along those lines that does not actually help the people that live there in terms of pricing, the actual spaces, what they feel comfortable, and what helps support their culturally rich areas. That has been one of the biggest difficulties thus far, and people truly understanding what diversity and equality is.
"2020 definitely played such a big part because it gave us the opportunity to actually sit down and take a step back and really see what is going on in the world. Because of all the police brutality that's going on in 2020, everyone actually had the opportunity to actually think about what is really going on, and it was some type of an uprising, and people just aren't having it. And now I see that a lot of people are trying to contribute, especially with companies, in a way where how can they contribute and help diversity and inclusion within the companies.
I think globalization is the key word to this question. When you download a font or a mock-up or a template, you don't know where they're going to come from. It could be from anywhere. And same with the websites that provide you with freelancer servers. They could be based anywhere. And as for 2020, a lot of companies now wanted to cut budget, and since workers are working remotely, it doesn't really matter where they're from. They could be based from anywhere. And I think it has unintentionally diversified the design community.
The interesting thing that COVID did is force everyone to stay at home and face the facts of what this country looks like politically, and what the world looks like politically and socially. Because I don't think the things that are happening right now are new. I think people have just been forced to stay at home and listen to their podcasts and watch the news and really hyper analyze the structures of the world. So I think that's in turn going to reflect in the design industry, because it's forcing people to say, maybe it's not just politics, maybe it's also my own industry, maybe this is hitting closer to home than I think it is.
Never give up, never stop pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing towards change. There's going to be so many scenarios where it becomes so hard and it's so exhausting, and what you need to do is keep pushing. People feel that diversity sometimes becomes a little too political because, it may start relating to, people's lives. Black Lives Matter, and people do not, it may not sit well with other individuals, right? But by you having that voice and pushing it, it becomes a topic of conversation. And I don't think that people should be afraid to talk about these situations, especially those who are living through it. There's someone out there that is looking at you. There's someone out there that is looking up to you because you're speaking. Change happens even with one voice. You can be that motivation, you can be that person that allows other people to start to speak up.
I'm excited for being around a corporate office again, honestly, because we had these uncomfortable discussions about diversity and inclusion. It's nice to see that we have had those discussions, but I'm also excited to see what they have, what they're going to do after we have these discussions. So we talked about it, and then now what are we going to do after the fact?
I'm looking forward to more diversity in the design industry. I'm looking forward to working for people who look like me. I'm looking forward to starting my own company. I don't know what that would look like, but hopefully serving communities that haven't been served.